Hi, I'm Jenny Fish from One Big Happy Yarn Company, and welcome to our temperature scarf knit along. I'm so excited about this project. So basically what we've done is we have taken mitered squares. We have also taken the temperature outside. We've combined it all together with some beautiful colors and come up with this scarf. So basically, each month is a block. There's 12 mitered square blocks in here. They're all attached, no weaving in the ends either. Each strip is a day. So it makes this crazy, jumbled, beautiful, colorful scarf. And I can't wait to show you how we make it. So first off, let's talk about the yarn and the color choices. We're using Barocco Comfort DK with 10 different colors. They all come in the kit with the pattern at onebighappy.com. So we decide what color to use based upon the temperature, and you usually do it the day after because you need to know the temperature from the day before. You can use high or low. For this scarf, I chose to use the high temperatures. Here in the Midwest, in Missouri, we have some crazy temperatures. We literally run the gamut from 0 to 100, and sometimes less than 0, and sometimes more than 100. But we're lucky enough and fortunate enough that we experience all the seasons and all the different weather. But for you in your area, if you want to condense the temperatures to figure out what colors to use, you can use your favorite weather app to kind of determine. And let me give you a little bit more information on that. So I have 10 colors, and I made this little card here where each strand is there. And then on my card, I wrote from 0 to 9 degrees is going to be this color. From 10 to 19 is going to be this color. For you, if you live in an environment that maybe 30 is the lowest your weather gets, then you could start at 30 and maybe go every 5 degrees so that you can cover all 10 colors and have a little bit more of a random look. So I'm one of those people that really, I like even. Like if I have 2 here, I want 2 here. If I have 3 here, I want 3 there. With this scarf, I let the weather pattern decide what color was coming next. And I just let go, let it be random. And it turned out so beautiful. I was a little worried because of my particularness on how I like things to turn out. But it turned out so beautiful. I love it. But that's how we work the colors in. So that's like the main concept that we want to grasp is assign a temperature range for each color, set them aside, make yourself a little chart. Like I punched holes in a piece of cardstock and put them through there. You could tape them onto the pattern, tape them onto a piece of notebook paper, write out to the side. You could write on the actual ball band of your yarn, hey, this one's going to be from 0 to 5 degrees or whatever you choose, completely random. One of the other tricks that I did was I went through and I looked at all the temperatures from the year before, and I found out which range had the most days in it. And for Missouri, the 80s had 89 days that were in the 80s. And when I was sorting out my colors, I was like, okay, I'm going to use my favorite color in that spot because I want my scarf to have more of that color in it. You could do that too and then base your rainbow of colors around that. It's so diverse, so up to you. Use your creativity. But again, we're making these mitered squares, one stripe at a time, and those colors are determined by the weather. So how do we make a mitered square? Let's get started. First off, we're going to cast on using what color we determined from our temperature. And for me, this year, I'm going to start off with yellow. And you know, the plan is that you start off like January 2nd using the temperature from January 1 so that all of January is one block. I want to get it out of the way right now because I know you all are going, whoa, wait a minute. Not every month has the same amount of days in it. You're absolutely right. And that was like my first, whoa, how am I going to do this? Well, the average is 30 days. You know, we think calendar months, we think 30 days, even though some are 31, 28, leap year 29. Well, we're just going to adjust for that. We're just going to go with the flow and let it go. So January has 31 days in it. I'm going to make my mitered square based off of 30. So I'm going to have an extra day at the end. What I do with that is, well, 28 days in February, I can just start the block for February with the last day of January if I wanted to. If I don't want to, I could just pick a random color and start that month to make our mitered square. So at this point, the basic is we need to know how to make a mitered square. I chose to use a knitted cast on for this. Okay, so I have a special trick to show you when we change colors, but for now we want to leave a long tail when we cast on. I'm using the knitted cast on, which starts off with a slip knot, comfortably smooth on our needle, and then basically a knitted cast on is you knit into your slip knot, a normal knit stitch, bring it through, over, twist, slide it back on. I'll show you that again. Knit into the next stitch, bring it through, twist, slide it back onto your left needle. Put that in, and we're going to cast on 60 stitches. So after we get these 60 stitches cast on, we'll turn our work and knit back. So if you use yarn in any way, knitting, crocheting, weaving, whatever, you are probably familiar with these. This is what happens. It's normal. It happens. This is where, as they're winding our smaller balls, that they run out of yarn on one cone, they tie a knot, keep going to keep winding the ball. Industry standard is 3 knots per ball, so you know, it just happens. The yarn can break in the machine as it's spinning. It can run out and need to be replaced. There's lots of reasons that these little knots happen. But what do we do as yarnies to overcome the knots in our yarn? Well, I'm casting on in this project, and I have several more stitches to cast on. I don't want this knot in my cast on. I don't want to clip it and start over. So for this project, what I'm going to do is just take all of these off. I'm going to clip that knot out. I'm going to save this yarn for later on in my project, but I'm not going to use it right now. I am going to cut the knot out and just start casting on here. Now, if I was in the middle of a project and I would look at the texture of the stitches that I'm doing, if it would be easy to weave it in and it wouldn't be noticeable, then I would leave a long tail both sides and just pick up, cut the knot out and pick up and keep knitting. If I was close to the end of a row, I would backtrack, clip the yarn there, and then start a new row with the fresh yarn, because I don't like having those knots in my knitting, and I would rather weave in my ends to make a smooth join. That's how I would handle those knots. They do happen, and that's my suggestions. So I've gone ahead and I've cast on my 60 stitches. Now I've knit back 30. At this point, I'm at the halfway point, and I want to put in a stitch marker to notate that area right there in the center. Now I'm going to go ahead and knit back 30, and then I'll be ready to start my next row. I'm coming to the end of the row for this day. So this day was day 1. I cast on, and then I knit 1 row, and I placed the stitch marker. As I flip it over, I am now looking at the right side of my work. I have my tail over here, and now I'm ready to start day 2. So I look at my temperature and I see what the next day's temperature was, find out my corresponding color, and now I'm ready to add my next color. And I'm going to use this green here to show you the difference. Again, I'm leaving a long tail when I get started, and the purpose for this long tail is as I'm changing colors, I don't want to have to, every day is going to practically be a different color, and I don't want to weave in all those ends. That's a lot of ends to weave in. So I decided to leave long tails and then make a fringe out of them on the outside, and I'll show you what that looks like here on the scarf. See how the fringe is on the outside? That is the reason why we're leaving a really long tail as we go along. Now, I did a little bit shorter on this sample here, and I realized later, I was like, I think I want that a little bit longer. So in the pattern, I said 5 to 6 inches, but do what works best for you, what you would like. Keep in mind that you will be trimming these tails down to make them all match up. So your shortest tail will be the guideline of where you go. So as long as you keep it consistent, keep it a little bit longer so that you can always cut back because you can't really add to it after it's there. So when you're ready to start the next day with a new color, this is day 2, you just go ahead and knit into the first stitch. I just make a loop and wrap my yarn around, bring it through, and then start knitting. And we're going to knit to the center here to where we place that stitch marker, and then we're going to work some decreases. And let me show you how the mitered square looks so you can stay kind of in the know of where we're at. Here's one that I've already finished, and this is where we cast on, and then we knit back, and now I'm on day 2. And this, you'll see this right here, this is where we're going to do our decreases, because it goes from, let me pull this out here. I'm going to show you what this looks like. It goes from one long cast on right here, and then we work our decreases here, and that causes it to close up and become a square. So I just want to give you some real visuals so you can see what this looks like. This is our cast on, and as we work the decreases in the center, we come in and we fill in, and it closes up into a square. So I hope that gives you a better visual of how the mitered square works and why we're working it the way we are. Now I'm going to knit until I get to 2 stitches before this stitch marker. And I just knit across. And just kind of a backup, we're on day 2. We've got our second color, long tail, so that we can make that fringe when we're done. Knit across until 2 stitches before that stitch marker. Here we are, 2 stitches before our stitch marker, and we want to decrease to pull these 2 together. So the first one we're going to do is a knit 2 together. So there's these 2 stitches. I'm going to slide my needle through. I'm going to knit those 2 together. That's going to cinch that up. Slide my stitch marker over. In the pattern, you're going to see SM. That means slide marker. Slide that over. And now I'm going to do my decrease on this side, which is an SSK. So we're going to slip, slip, and then knit those 2 together through the back loop. So I bring my left needle in through the front loop, which leaves my right needle in the back loop already, and I knit those 2 together. And then I knit all the way across, and then back again. So I knit all the way across, flip it over, knit it all back, all in that same day's color. So when you're down to the last day of the month, this is row 59. You have 4 stitches left. We're going to start out with the same thing that we've been doing, the knit 2 together and the SSK, which is the slip, slip, knit. Let me show you that again. Here's the slip, slip, knit. Slip, slip, then slide this needle back in right here, and then knit those 2 stitches together. I grabbed my tail by accident. There we go. SSK. Now when I turn, there's only 2 stitches left, so I'm just going to simply knit those 2 stitches together to cinch that up. So I knit those 2 stitches together, and I have 1 loop left. Just slide my yarn through that loop, and that binds off for this square, like that. Take a look at the right there. So now I'm ready to start a new square. I'm ready to start the next month. And I want to pick up, because I want all my tails to be on the same side so that my fringe on my scarf is all on the same side. So I'm going to start picking up right here and working across this section across the top of this block here. Now, when I cast on originally for the block, I cast on 60 stitches. That went this way. I did my decreases. It closed it up. Well, I want to pick up and knit across the top of this block for 31 stitches. It's half plus 1. That gives me a little bit more structure for that middle section, and I'll show you what that looks like right here. When I pick up, now this is all garter stitch, which is knit on both sides, so I have all these ridges. I'm going to pick up between those ridges, go through these two. So I'm going to put my needle right in here between those two bumps. It's a little loose because that's where we bound off for the last day of the month. But that's okay. We're going to close it all in together. Then I'm going to slide in between these right here. Be sure to leave your long tail and then pick up with your working yarn to bring that through. And we're going to go all the way across here 31 times. That's one extra than the 30 that we were working with, but we're doing that for a little bit of structure. So you'll pick up 31 all the way across here, and then you'll use that knitted cast on that I showed you to begin with to cast on another 29. So you're back to a total of 60 stitches on your needle. So at this point, I have picked up 30 stitches in between each of these areas right here all the way around. So the 31st stitch, I want to show you where I picked that up because it's a little counterintuitive to what you think you might be doing. I'm actually going to rotate my work right here, and I'm picking up the first stitch on the other side. The reason for this is it's going to pull it and bring it so that my edge is smooth. It just tugs it right into place. That's where that 31st stitch is. Oh, something else that we might want to do is at this point, since we know there's 30 on here, we could go ahead and put our stitch marker for our center point here and then pick up that 30, whoops, dancing stitch marker. Okay, so I'm going to set that right here and then pick up that 31st stitch. And then I flip the work back towards me. I have the wrong side of the work facing me, and I do a knitted cast on for the next 29 stitches. And back to what I showed you before, we knit that stitch, bring it around, twist it, slide it back onto the needle. I do this until I have a total of 60 stitches on my needle. Here we have all of our picked up stitches across the top of our block, and then we have our knitted stitches across here, our stitch markers right in the middle, and we're ready to go ahead and just knit back across, and then on day 2 we'll start our decreases and continue. I do want to give you a couple of visuals so you have an idea of what this looks like when you're looking face down at this. This is garter stitch, so it's knit on both sides, so it looks almost the same but a little bit different. Always know that the right side of your scarf is looking at you this way with all of your tails on the right side. And then I'm going to flip this over and show you what the back side or the wrong side of the work looks like. Your decreases are indented, and the garter stitch has more of a like a dot 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 look to it instead of more of a smooth line. So that's a quick, easy way if you put your project down, because the plan is to knit a little bit, put it down, knit a little bit. When you pick it up, this will give you some visual indicators of where you're at in the pattern. You want to make sure that you're working on the right side of your work, your tails are to the right, and then you just make each block according to the weather and the temperature outside. And then when you're done, wah, 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 as my kids would say, it's time for the fringe. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside over here because I really want to show you how simple this fringe is. And you can also, to like yarn control, work on your fringe as you're working along your scarf to keep it out of the way. I just simply, every day is going to have 2 tails because you have your beginning and your end. And I just simply tied a square knot. So to simply tie a knot, we just go over and through, and I do that twice. And that's the end of that day. Grab it. Now, also too, don't be shy. Don't worry. You see these coming undone. When you do your overhand knots or your square knot here, it'll cinch those back up, and your tension will look good again. So we're going to tie this here and here. Let's show you here like that. Okay, so I do that, and then I gather up, this is how I did it. Feel free to adjust to what you like, but I gathered like 10 of these together, So I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Pulled these all together, and then I just put a knot right in here. Put a knot in, and I squished it all the way down so it was nice and pretty right there. And then afterwards, I came through and decided what length I wanted my fringe, and I kind of gave it a little haircut. And these scissors are fantastic for that. These are the patchwork scissors, Clover. They're fantastic for that. That's the basics. We're making mitered squares, one big mitered square for every month. Every stripe is a day of that month. Have fun, play with it, be creative. But let's take a look. This is my year in review scarf. Look at that. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's so pretty. I love these colors. Thank you for joining me in making the temperature scarf. I had so much fun making this, and the beauty of it just speaks volumes to me. Taking a few moments of meditated knitting every day. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your craft, enjoy your knitting. Have fun. Thank you so much. We have the kits available with the pattern at onebighappy.com. Order yours now. Get started in time for the new year. Knit along with me. And have a great day. Happy knitting.